Jim Crow Joe announcing his re-election bid. And I'm going to show you guys some headlines. And I'm going to show you guys how my favorite show covered Joe Biden's re-election campaign. You guys know my favorite show is Morning Joe, the greatest propaganda show of all time. So we got a short clip from them. This is some headlines. I literally just pulled a few of these just so you guys see what they're talking about. Actually, I might find, let's see if I can find another one just so you guys get some more. So here's from Politico, Joe Biden's enthusiasm gap. The reality is many activists, natural surrogates, the reality is many activists, natural surrogates to bolster Biden's message are growing wary. You see how they just assume activists are part of the Biden and Democrat Party apparatus. No, the real activists are shut out. People like Sunrise, Gen Z for Change, those are not real activists. Electoral politics action is not activism. They like you see these people on Twitter all the time, these shit libs. They be like, yeah, man, I did some phone banking. I helped raise money for this politician. Yeah, I'm getting to some activism. Like, fam, that's not activism. Bourgeoisie activism is not activism from my Marxist point of view. Here's another headline. Is Biden a strong nominee for 2024, or is that malarkey? Can we have a conversation about this real quick? You have Joe Biden, a terrorist, the bomber of the Nord Stream pipeline. In a rational society, Joe Biden would not be allowed to run. You have a guy who committed a giant act of eco-terrorism.
Yeah.
This guy should be disqualified. That's why when liberals and progressive shit libs, whenever they say stuff like Trump, man, we're not charging him with crimes because it's political. It's not a political process. No one is above the law. They actually say that. They're like, no one's above the law. This is why we're charging Trump. This is not a political process. Meanwhile, you guys got a fucking terrorist on top of your ticket. And yes, JB, yes, my friends, yes, my family, that is how we should refer to Joe Biden from now on. Why shouldn't we? That's how they refer to us. We were protesting Cop City, JB, and they label people domestic terrorists for protesting Cop City. So how about we call Joe Biden and all his enablers the terrorists that they are? The Democratic Party has a terrorist on top of the ticket. Someone who's bombed the Nord Stream pipeline. Someone who funded multiple genocides. Can we talk like that from now on? Because maybe if we talk like that from now on, we'll put more shame on people like this. This is my funny of the day. This is Bernie Sanders rushing to endorse Joe Biden. Because you know it's coming. You know it's coming. You're going to have Bernie, who already said he's going to support Biden over Marianne Williamson and the others. So to me, it's been extremely weird to see Marianne Williamson and her supporter upset at us, even though their biggest obstacle is the Bernie industrial complex, Bernie Sanders and the progressive establishment themselves that won't support them. But they seem way more upset. And I want to ask you guys this. They seem way more upset at Black activists who have no money and power not supporting Marianne Williamson than people like Bernie Sanders and the institutional progressives who straight up said, I'm good. I'm good, Marianne. Why do you guys think they're more angry at us? It's almost like they are more likely to punch down more than anything. So the obvious reaction to anyone who's a leftist will be regarding Biden's re-election campaign is that this guy is a terrorist. This guy has funded ICE and the border industrial complex more. He deported more people than Donald Trump. He's funding the police, like he's funding multiple genocides. There's no way that the left position is to support Joe Biden. And if you are, we need to challenge these people and hold these gaslighting charlatans on the left accountable who's about to endorse Joe Biden. We about to go to war. Go ahead, JB. I'm ranting. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead,
Nick, I want to add to what you just said because you called him a terrorist. I would also call him a torture enabler because has he closed down Guantanamo Bay?
DHS, he's spending DHS. There's accusations of torture in the migrant facilities. And then Joe Biden saw that allegations of torture and child labor. That's a story I didn't get a chance to get into. How there was whistleblowers that was warning the Biden administration about child labor being used at DHS migrant camps, and the Biden administration ignored it. They was like, So JB, finish your point. I just want to add that to the torture.
And the thing is, it's like a lot of times people will talk about leaders of other countries and they'll call them dictators and things like that. I'm like, no, let's actually go to the actual definition of what some of these words mean. And if you want to go for terrorism, because what is a terrorist? A terrorist does a violent act for political gain. And what was a violent act done for political gain? The violent act was destroying the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, right? And out of admission, Joe Biden said, oh, yeah, we're going to take care of it. We're going to do it. Out of admission. So therefore, he admitted to a terrorist act done by the hands of the United States. And so if you're going to sit here and talk about, oh, well, we want, Joe Biden's supposed to be a president that believes the science. Well, what science did he believe? Because he blew up a pipeline which caused a massive ecological disaster. And it also strains the relationship that the United States has with Germany. Because you literally just cut off their energy supply to one of your allies.
Yep.
And my question is, hey Germany, you gonna take that shit lying down?
And they're like, yes, we are. We're more than happy to. We're more than happy to sell our people out. And that's why European leaders are struggling. Finland was like, man, we're going to follow the United States and then pin them out. The prime minister's out. France is facing protests all the time. The prime minister can't keep a leader. They can't keep a prime minister in the UK. And to your point, everyone knows Biden eco-terrorist to the point where everyone in the media was demanded not to talk about it. The progressive left was demanded not to talk about this. Rashida Tlaib was asked a question by a protester at a town hall she was holding, and she was asked about her thoughts about the Nord Stream piping, and she said, nah, can't talk about that, son. Get him the fuck out of here. How dare you ask me a question? What do I look like? Someone who represents you? What do you think you are? Some sort of fucking citizen I'm obligated to answer questions to? Get the fuck out of here. You better ask me some red blue shit. Mm-hmm. Ask me about how bad Trump is or get the fuck out of here. That's what Rashid Tlaib did when asked about Nord Stream. Why? Because this is the obvious culture that's been establishment. This is Washington Post explaining on the Nord Stream attack. He said leaders see little benefit from digging too deeply and finding an uncomfortable answer. That's come from the Washington Post. That means leaders like Rashida Tlaib and the progressive left, Bernie Sanders, and everyone who's about to endorse Joe Biden, they're about to endorse Joe Biden because they have a don't ask, don't tell policy. They're like, don't ask, don't tell about the Nord Stream pipeline. Don't talk about it. You guys about to end. JB, I hope you guys ready to go to war. I've been waiting for this since 2020. I am ready for a rematch because I remember you Bernie motherfuckers was so mad at me. So mad at me because I refused to vote for Joe Biden. They all refused to admit that I was right. And now we're about to do it again. You're going to have all the progressives that are ready to endorse Joe Biden. And guess what? We're going to be looking at these motherfuckers and we're going to be there to call them out because the RBN never existed before this. And we're not going to allow people, the working class, to be gaslighted by the wave of the progressive DSA left that is about to endorse Joe Biden because this is the most important election of our lifetime. So I'm gonna go to this part of the segment, and we almost done because this video is not that long. This is only a 6-minute video. That's where we're gonna get through all of it because I'm not even gonna show you guys the Joe Biden election campaign launch. I'm not gonna show you guys any other headlines. This video right here is gonna sum it up. This is why I go to Morning Joe. Morning Joe is the voice of the Democratic Party. So look at the unhinged propaganda that has already been promoted about Joe Biden, and we're about to debunk this piece by piece. And when you see this, you're gonna realize how weak of a campaign the Biden administration is about to run. So let's get into this, and we see how much we can tolerate.
Your thoughts on President Biden's re-election announcement? I thought the announcement was pretty skillful in the sense that it gives you an introduction to Joe Biden. Again, another introduction.
It's skillful.
His calmness, his
and something else when playing this, because I always make the point. I drove this point home when I was on Glenn's show, when I was on Jimmy's show, when I was on Fault Line Radio. I want people to decolonize their mind. People think Russia and China and other countries have unique propaganda, have unique state media. As you watch this, this is supposed to be a news program, guys. This is an advertisement for a political official that had the same. They have the same donor. Joe Biden is their big donor is Moderna, weapon defense contractors. They're the same people who donate to these people. So they're gonna cut an ad. And watch this. This is state media of the highest level.
Deliberateness, his avoidance of calamity, his desire to calm this country down. And he's going to walk us through it. He's not going to run through it. And he's going to be Joe Biden. And I think he's very familiar to people. He's going to become even more familiar. And he's going to stand out in an age when people are yelling and screaming on both sides of the political aisle. And yet here he is. Just facts, man. Calmly, deliberately, and pump the brakes on the riotous atmosphere.
So this is a good, and JB, I know you want to chime in, so you can go ahead. But they're gonna continue this theme. They're gonna Biden is the calm candidate, but Donald Trump is chaos. Biden is unique calmness. This motherfucker is leading us into World War III. Straight up leading us to nuclear war. But their message on Morning Joe is that Biden is the calm, calculating candidate. This motherfucker is destroying United States standing. He's destroying the petrodollar.
Look, if I wanted to see fellatio, I would turn on Pornhub.
Sorry I'm doing this to you, JB. Sorry I'm doing this to you.
And I don't want to see this dude doing what he's doing to Joe Biden right now. Like, dear God.
This is not safe for work
right now.
This is not safe for work. He is fellating him on national TV. This is disgusting.
Yes. Like, good God, man.
Oh, they just got started, JB. I'm gonna let it play because it's not a long video. So I'm gonna let it play a little more. Because I think a lot of the propaganda speaks for itself. We're gonna knock it down piece by piece. So I'm gonna let it play. Look how this is just we are analyzing and we are witnessing how the United States is the most propagandized country in the world. When I first started as a citizen journalist, and JB, you remember, I used to tweet that shit all the time. I was like, United States is more propaganda because I would believe it and every ounce of fiber of my being. I used to get pushback. People are like, what? What are you talking about? Don't you know about Iran? Don't you know about Russia? Don't you know about China? Don't you know about Venezuela? And I'm like, bro, did you watch this shit? So that's why I do these segments, because I'm here to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here. No other state media has shit on this. So here we go. I'll play some more. You gonna see what I'm talking about?
We cling to each and every day in the news.
Claire, I was told very early on when I started campaigning against an incumbent that when you're running against anybody, it's all about contrasts. What's the contrast you take to voters? With Joe Biden, we do have that calmness. Nobody's calling him Mr. Excitement. Nobody's shouting out hope and change. Nobody's shouting out it's morning in America. You got a guy who's calm.
And look at this part. You got to notice how
they keep saying calm. They keep saying that word. And I'm like, that doesn't mean what? Let me ask you this. If there is a fire, if you are on fire, would you want someone to calmly, slowly, gingerly out? Is that what you want? Is that the type of person that you need? Like, come on. Like, it's like you guys, y'all at Morning Joe, y'all lost it. Because y'all sitting here talking about, oh, well, you guys are trying to bring out some type of quality that, number one, he does not possess.
Yes.
Number two, that's the only thing you can say positively about him, because he literally led this country into a clusterfuck.
Yes, that's why.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, JB, but that's why I'm about to say what they're saying does not even make sense. Joe Biden's Remember, most people in this country, like Maureen Joe, had no idea how our government works. When you analyze the action of the president, you're analyzing the actions of the executive branch, okay? When you guys talk about Build Back Better and all the other shit, that's in Congress. That's legislation. That's part of the legislative branch. The president signs on those, but they don't have a lot of influence on that. When you analyze the president, you got to analyze his actions as commander-in-chief and as head of multiple state departments, like the DHS, for example, which he expanded and blew that organization up that was using child migrant slave labor, that was sexually assaulting migrants and expanded child detention centers that became child overflow facilities under Biden for some reason. And the way that Joe Biden has handled China and the way that Joe Biden has handled Ukraine and Russia has not been calm. You got to see how the analysis of Biden has nothing to do with his policies, nothing to do with how he behaved as commander-in-chief. And the same go for the progressives. We have Marianne Wilson refuse to call him out for his corruption. We have progressives who continue to support Biden. They be like, oh my God, look, you see Build Back Better? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? Like, what has he done as president, as commander-in-chief? He has been one of the most unhinged presidents. Everything they said that Donald Trump was going to do, Joe Biden did. They said Joe Biden was going to isolate the United States and have allies turn away from the United States. That is what Joe Biden did. India, Saudi Arabia, Brazil is turning away from the United States the same way they said Trump would do. That was Donald Trump did. They said Donald Trump was going to start World War III and he's going to escalate a nonstop, endless war. That is what Joe Biden has done. But meanwhile,
hold my beer.
Joe Biden was like, man, Donald Trump was on some pussy ass shit. I'm gonna show you how it's really done, son. I'm gonna show you how this white supremacy empire shit is really done. And now the second point I want to get to, I'll let the video continue, is you notice, look at the class loyalty and look at their class interest. I should say, JB. Look at their class interest. They know who watched your show. We hate watch this shit. We not their demographic. We just hate watch this shit. We think it's funny, and I think it's educational to point out capitalist hypocrisies and lies that they broadcast, right? But look at what they are establishing as a good thing. They are establishing calmness as a good thing, JB, because these are upper class bourgeoisie liberals who want nothing more than calm. Yes, there's millions of Americans that don't have health care, me included. Yes, there's 60,000 people who die outside of COVID because they don't have health care every year. Yes, we have a nonstop rampant police state that's killing people and locking people up and stealing their resources via civil asset forfeiture. But everyone be calm.
Everyone be calm.
Everyone be calm. You guys see what liberals want you to do? Everyone be calm. Joe Biden's here to calm you down. This is a good thing. And more Joe, all these millionaires nodding their head like, everyone be calm down. And then all the millionaire shitlibs watching the damn show like, yeah, goddamn, we need to calm the fuck down. We need to get back to the status quo, business as usual. You guys see how there's multiple layers of the bullshit they doing here?
Yeah. Joe Biden is as calm as a police officer around a unarmed black man waving his hands around. That's how calm Joe Biden is.
Look at one of the videos of protesters calling out Joe Biden for his record and see how calm Joe Biden is. Remember that video? We was like, why? You remember that, JB? Look up how calm Joe Biden is when he is challenged by the working class. And well, let me continue because once again, they're not a long video, so I'm gonna let it play.
Yeah,
and we already hinted at a lot of the propaganda themes. I'm gonna let it play a little bit more because I think live is gonna speak for itself. There's an interesting part I'm waiting for in particular, but I'll let it play.
He's normal. Now, if that doesn't excite a lot of people in most years, it just may make the difference when the alternative is chaos, calamity,
you see,
riots,
carnage,
racism, American carnage, and I am your retribution. Oh. I mean, you talk about that contrast.
If you don't know what he's talking about, Trump had a quote where he said, he's talking to his base, he said, I am your retribution. And ever since Trump said that, MSNBC shitlibs have been melting the fuck down. How dare you make the working class upset and angry? They've been quoting this all the time. Like this is why Trump is a fascist. He said he wants his people to take retribution. JB, correct? And feel free to put back up me if you think I'm wrong with this. But don't you want a left leader to look at us and say, I am your retribution? That I am going to be the manufacturer of your anger and I'm going to fight for you? Don't you want that?
Hell, I wish somebody would.
Exactly.
I mean, Of course,
don't you want that?
Donald
Sorry,
Trump was lying through his through his chiclet teeth, but at least he played the part. You know what I'm saying? And Donald Trump is just as fast as Joe Biden. Yeah, but Donald Trump at least played the part.
Right.
You know.
So way too Claire McCaskill, and they keep doing this shit. Man, Claire McCaskill from Missouri, so I know everything about her. She's the person who lost to Josh Hawley, by the way. Josh Hawley, she was running to his right. A lot of people forgot about this. Claire McCaskill, and I was in Missouri. I saw the fucking ads. There was ads on TV that was like, if you want to build the wall, you want to support Claire McCaskill over Josh Hawley because he's a young rookie that don't know how to watch them work. If you want actual shit done, vote in Claire McCaskill. If you want the border to be secure, vote for Claire McCaskill. She was running to his right. And then she lost to Josh Hawley, but they keep bringing Claire McCaskill on like, hey, Claire, what is your opinion on how Democrats can win elections? Said the biggest fucking loser. And remember, she lost during the blue wave year, guys. There's the blue wave, and she lost. And in Missouri, that was the same year that we passed a Medicaid expansion. We passed a Medicaid expansion and an increased minimum wage through ballot initiative. So you had a bunch of progressive people that voted for ballot initiative, conservative people voted for ballot initiatives that she did not support. She was an enemy of the Show Me Cannabis movement in Missouri that won, by the way. We got legalized cannabis here. We won. You want to know who opposed the Show Me Cannabis movement? Claire McCaskill. But liberals want me to think that Claire McCaskill is worse than a Republican, though. They don't pay attention to politics. Let's watch. Let's finish the rest of this. Well, it's not a long video. It's just a lot of breakdown with the bullshit they say.
And how actually the light touch, the low key approach may actually be the most dramatic strategy this year.
I was interested in a poll that I saw over the last couple of weeks that tried to measure how people felt about the two parties in terms of extremism.
How they are.
Because there's always an allegation by those in the Republican Party that somehow the Democratic Party is full of extremists. Not anymore in America. Most Americans agree that the Republican Party has become very, very extreme. And that's...
Y'all motherfuckers are funding Nazis, son. You are funding Nazis, and you are spending... Democrats expanded every single Trump policy. So Trump and MAGA is extreme, but we're going to continue his border policy. Yeah, Trump and MAGA is so extreme, but we're going to continue their economic policy. How does that make sense? I'm going to let it continue.
The contrast. The contrast is between somebody you know well, somebody who represents the norms of this country in terms of uniting people and appealing to our better angels and looking up rather than down, and as opposed to a party that has been captured by a small minority of people, and they're doing things in my state.
It's only the Republican Party that was
it's peer protection, right? Right, Claire? Hey, hang on. Here's my problem. When she talks about, this party's been taken over by extremists, her saying that is like the Democratic Party standing there next to the Democratic Party is two men standing there next to a person. And the two people who are the Democratic and Republican Party are the Republican guy is beating up the old lady who lives on the street. And then the Democratic Party guy goes in and starts punching a few licks on the old lady going, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Look at this guy. Isn't he extreme? But he's still punching the lady too.
Right. So you have Claire McCaskill it's a two-party problem, right? But they say the Republican Party was hijacked by a small amount of people. They talk about the MAGA Republicans. For one, they're not even true. Not even true. All the Republicans voted with Trump, so they do this thing where they say they're MAGA Republicans. No, they're just the Republicans. They're like this thing where you pretend that they're different is completely absurd. But her claim is that it's only the Republican Party that's been hijacked by a small minority. So based on polling, you guys know around 85% Democrats support Medicare for all. You guys know that? We have a president that said he will veto Medicare for all. when you go down the line, Democratic voters are progressive as shit, but our party don't support none of those progressive policies. So it's almost like the Democratic Party was hijacked by a small minority of people that are pushing corporate policies. The same thing Claire McCaskill accused Republicans of being. So let's continue. I'm gonna try to get through more. Like it's not a long video. There's a certain point I'm waiting for. It is hilarious. I'm gonna let it play till we get that point, unless you want to chime in, JB. Cause I know it's hard to do it.
As opposed to a party that has been captured by a small minority of people, and they're doing things in my state and many other states that are abhorrent to independent voters. Whether it's forcing a birth, government forced birth on a rape victim, or whether it's the carnage of guns in this country and a refusal of the Republican Party to recognize that that's part of the problem. All of those things are in Joe Biden's corner. And let's remember, Joe, let's remember that this is a binary choice. This isn't a referendum on Joe Biden. This is, who do you like better? And I think Joe Biden is in a pretty good place right now.
You see how they program people to think? Hey, JB, this is a binary choice. Don't think it's anything other than binary choice. There's no third party. Hell, there's no, you can not vote. That's a legitimate option too. I'm more in line with supporting a third party, but if you don't want to vote, that's a legitimate option as a supporter. But she said, "Oh, there's a binary choice." Who does this serve? Who does that mindset serve? And you will hear progressive say shit like this. Come on, man. Third parties never win. This is a binary choice. People like Crystal Ball will say, "Grow up, grow up," because you listen to this shit. But let's continue.
Jen, you've run presidential campaigns, so particularly interested in your view of what we saw this morning in this rollout, but also sort of a continuation of the message of the White House reading what happened in the midterm elections just a few months ago, which was a lot of people in this country saying, whoa.
Yeah.
A lot of you have gone too far, whether it's on guns and the school shootings we've seen just in recent weeks even, and on abortion. Just yesterday, North Dakota passed a 6-week abortion ban with only slim rape, incest, medical emergency exceptions up to 6 weeks and nothing after that. Republicans kind of burrowing in on those positions and the White House saying, we agree, we think they've gone too far.
I mean, it's a big this is a big moment in American history, and it's hard to capture that in a video, but I think they did a good job with that. You know, he talked about, do you want more freedom or less freedom, more rights or less rights? He's bringing it to the high level that, I mean,
the person who is trying to take your rights right now is the Democratic Party. Who's trying to prosecute Julian Assange? Who is pushing the Restrict Act through? Republicans and Democrats, to be clear. But it's nonsense. We're almost done, and then we
democracy is at stake. Fundamental rights for women are at stake. That is what's happening in this election. But also talking about they have a solid record of accomplishments. A lot of people are still not feeling great about the economy. They need to prove that these things are working. They have they can do that over the course of the next 18 months until the actual election. An agenda.
Look at you see how they skirt past that point, JB. I know some people worry about the economy. But there's some culture war shit going on. That's a big part. People feel like the economy is leaving them behind. She's like, I know some people worry about the economy. You mean one of the things that is consistently ranked as the most important thing for voters in every election? That she just skipped past real quick.
Those are things you need to prosecute the argument on. Don't just rely on the contrast, but the contrast is fundamentally there. And the contrast with Trump or whoever the MAGA Republican is, you know, if it's DeSantis or someone else, in terms of rights that they continue to advocate to take away from women, democracy being under threat, voters get it. They turned out in 2020 in huge numbers to vote for him. They turned out in 22 in big numbers to vote for Democrats and to reject.
They always say that. They always they always come out in big numbers. Compare our turnout to other countries. Our establishment is a set mediocrity. Like United States turnout is a joke. Even in the biggest election that they ever had, they're like, this is the most historic turnout in the history of American politics. Still shit compared to France and the UK and other countries. Standards of low expectation. Less than a minute left.
The election deniers. So you have to prosecute that argument, the high level of what's at stake in terms of democracy, as well as accomplishments, what you're going to do for people in their everyday life.
And it's just worth noting, again, the remarkable journey that Joe Biden has come, where on his third bid for the presidency in 2019, remember, he, of course, failed so poorly in Iowa and New Hampshire, and then South Carolina with the help of Congressman Clyburn's endorsement, and we're going to talk to him soon. Rallies to not just win the nomination, but the presidency, and now unchallenged. No one, no credible primary threat. No one from the Democratic Party. He is.
Remember, this is the part I was waiting to get to. Let's play it again. I'll play this part again. But remember when Marianne Williamson and her supporters were like, we can't run third party because if we run third party, they will just ignore us. If we run third parties, we won't be able to debate them. So meanwhile, they in the Democrat Party, no debates, and they're still ignoring them. So listen to that part again, JB. I want you to read because this is the part I was waiting for.
Of Congressman Clyburn's endorsement, and we're going to talk to him soon. Rallies to not just win the nomination, but the presidency, and now unchallenged. No one, no credible primary threat. No one from the Democratic Party. He has got the party behind him. He is, despite concerns about perhaps the economy or his age, he can point to a robust legislative record. And we should note his leadership on the world stage with the war in Ukraine. And his team feels like they're in a very strong position
on the world
heading forward
stage.
into a re-election.
You mean his leadership on the world stage cost him crucial allies? Isolated the United States. Everything he's saying is opposite of reality. But sorry, I'll play the close thing again. I'll play the
team feels like they're in a very strong position heading forward into a re-election bid.
There it is. That last part. So that last part is what I really was waiting for. Can you see how they just there's no challenges? The thing is, they're right because they said no Democrats are behind them. They're like, oh, they're not really challengers. No Democrats are supporting them, meaning no Bernie. What they're saying is no Bernie, no threat here, no AOC, no progressives. They're gonna back in these people. But meanwhile, Marianne Wilson supporters are more upset at us. They're more upset at us than they are at Bernie Sanders. I couldn't even get Marianne Wilson to say a bad thing about Bernie Sanders. Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders and the progressive establishment completely abandoned them. But RBN is the people that got that taint their campaign.
Look, I mean. Where was Sabby last week on Wednesday? I mean, wasn't she at a rally for RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr.? And didn't he just announce that he's running for president?
No challenges.
I mean, wasn't it just covered in TMZ that Afro Man is actually running for president?
Best candidate thus far.
Like, really?
But he said no challengers. No legitimate challengers.
There's no challengers. They're not they're not there. They're not there. You don't see them. You can't see me. They're not there.
and meanwhile, this comment is true by Bad Cookies. This comment is true. RFK is polling at 15%. I'm glad CJ. Actually, CJ, I want to hear your thoughts on that segment because I saw your comments. So I know you was watching.
I watched that whole shit. I watched it, but go ahead.
This is a good comment. I'm gonna give you a take on the segment because that's all about Rebel CJ. But thank you for commenting. Bad Cookie. He said RFK is polling at 15%, which is he's around 10-15%, which is true. So why would they even say that? Which prove our thesis. Craig, I said before. We told them months ago. People thought we were bad guys because we said. If you wasting time running as a Democrat, and they will come back with the replies. Well, we gotta be heard, guys. I mean, it's like Breeze put back on us. We gotta show up to debate, guys. We can't be heard if we're part of a third party. Yeah, because you're clearly being heard right now. CJ, what do you take on that segment?
Man, it's Joe. Well, one, everybody knew he was going to, or pretty much everybody thought he was going to announce, but he's been pushing it back. I think he was pushing it back because maybe he was on the fence. Maybe the people in the background who has been trying to convince him, and you can't tell me no people have not been trying to convince him not to run. Because have you seen these stories that are coming out on corporate news? Oh, Joe Biden, this would never have come out if they felt secure that they were going to get him. So I think that it was kind of a push from some camp to get him out of the race. But now that he has come in and said, hey, I'm here, Twitter has gone crazy, Nick. There's all kind of shit. I know while we've been in this show, we have missed a lot. This is one of them. I wanted to make sure I brought this up as a part of this. As part of this segment right here. This is Pat the Burner. Shout out friend of the show, friend of the network. Bernie Sanders endorses Biden, rules out 2024
He
bid.
did already?
Today.
That's today?
This is today. 25 minutes ago, right here. 25 minutes ago.
This motherfucker didn't even wait. What?
This was an hour and a half ago. Sorry, because he tweeted it an hour ago. And when he tweeted it, it was 30 minutes old. So this is about 90 minutes old.
This motherfucker Bernie Sanders could not wait. So wait, hold on. Let me put my meme back up. I literally
go ahead.
I put this meme up today. I'm pretty proud of it. This is my meme I had today because when I saw that Biden was running for re-election, I put this tweet and I said live footage of Bernie Sanders rushing to endorse Joe Biden again. This motherfucker really did this.
That's
shit.
true. That's true.
He got the notification on his goddamn phone. He got a CNN sliding notification that said Joe Biden announced his re-election. He said, James, get my bags. We got to announce a press conference right now. Oh, my God.
It goes so well. Your meme goes so well with the actual news. This is the AP. It says Biden announces re-election bid, and then it says Bernie Sanders endorses. Literally, like he couldn't wait. It was in waiting. I think they probably coordinated.
I better see Kyle Kalinske. Bro, I better see Kyle Kalinske come out with a scathing video. This motherfucker been going after everybody who refused to support Marianne. But meanwhile, Bernie Sanders could not wait to kill her campaign. Could not wait. He's like, bro, Biden announces Marianne, I'm about to cut your head off. It's over for you. I'm
gonna look and see if anybody has. Let's see if any of the boutiques has tweeted about it, like any Emmas or Kyles. I'm gonna look it up and see if anybody has tweeted about.
Yo, this is massive because all those people who were behind Bernie in 2020 and are now behind Marianne Williamson are like, oh yeah, well Marianne's gonna pick up the torch that Bernie was going to carry, and now Bernie's saying, screw y'all. I'm going with Joe. And then they went on with Joe. And I'm just like, so is that your man? Is that your man? Because your man's just left you. Like, for real?
That's so fucking hilarious, bro. Like, I was supposed to, this man really endorsed this man on top of the hour. This man had him endorsed by lunchtime, son.
Look at that. That's it.
An hour ago. So fucking funny, bro. This
just happened, and here's the list of people who will endorse Biden.
Oh my God!
Look at this. This guy's on point. I don't know who this is, but this is true. You telling me both Robert Kennedy and Marianne Williamson? Oh well, I don't know RFK that well, so I don't know, but I know Marianne Williamson will endorse. Bernie Sanders has endorsed. AOC will endorse. We already know these clowns. All these clowns down here will endorse. I mean, come on. Jamal Bowman, Mike Figueroa. Oh, I didn't even see this. He got the boutique left on here too. Vosh spelled wrong.
Oh yeah. Wait, who sent that tweet? I was looking at something else. Who sent that tweet? Oh, that's someone else. So, 100% right. Yeah, all these people definitely gonna. And the only person on that list, actually, no, he's good. The list is good.
Vosh, I think he spelled Vosh wrong. But he has Anna on here. He has, and that's the thing. They're all huffing and puffing about corporate Democrats and blah blah blah, and you're not having no primary. Just get this: all of the Marianne Williamson people who are saying all this stuff about Joe Biden and rigging the election, they're going to vote for him. They're all going to vote for him and tell us to vote for him too. Which is insane. Wow, AP, like, so it's out. Everybody's now reporting on it.
I cannot wait. Y'all be 100% honest with you guys. I cannot wait to see how the Marianne people report on this. Like, this is gonna be my that's not substantive. I'll admit this is my guilty sin.
What can they say? I
cannot wait to see how these motherfuckers avoid criticizing Bernie no matter what. Bernie Sanders kicked Kyle Kalinske off his own fucking show, and he still wouldn't criticize him. But so if he doesn't criticize Bernie for this, God, that's a massive cuck ass shit. This boy
And
immediately
Nick-
I had to tweet about
And
that.
Nick, you thought you was joking. Nick thought he was joking when he put this shit up, and that actually happened again. RBN right again, Nick. RBN right again.
Dude, that's fucking
All right,
hilarious.
I'll take it down.
That's my
That's my addition to the segment. That's my addition.